Battle control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. This is a pre-recorded message. While you're watching this, I'm actually going to be in the Trans-Siberian Railroad and I'm going to be on my way to Irkutsk and Baikal. But that need not be your concern unless you wish to contact me via YouTube comments, in which case I might take some 2 odd weeks to reply. Now some might say that's not a surprise, that's usually the case. And fair enough, point taken. But hey, here we are. This is the second leg of the semifinals, sorry. And we've got an all-American semifinals, this time with round 2. The second leg being fought out between the defender of the South, standing his ground here, defender of the Southern accent. It is actually Smitty, it's France. So go surrender, buddy. And his opponent, with an undiscernible accent and from an undisclosed location, it is Blackened. He's US citizen, however, as well. So yeah, all American finals. There we go. And yeah, this map is borrowed time, which means that's not only borrowed time, that also means borrowed money, because you're gonna need a lease if you want to afford like tier 2 on a map like this. So I'm not expecting any high tier, any higher tiers to come into play. I'm just expecting good old tier 1.5 and into a stomp for either side. Let's see, Smitty's already raided up the pillbox, he's expecting the rush. He's guarding his power plants as well, looks like a campaign mission. And Blackened has failed the campaign mission because he failed to infiltrate the power plant with his spy already, so GG. That's game 1. Alright, Kappa. Both going for a war factory rush, and I think that's gonna leave their eco in shambles. Black is actually floating. Thing is, I think he was microing his harvester, and that gives you that extra little boost in the early game. Doesn't extend past the early game though, because it's simply just the ore they can soak up. So as soon as the ore is all gone, well, you're shit out of luck. It's just that you get to your ore sooner. Your income spike doesn't actually net you more ore over the course of the game. Anyway, Ranger rush here, and gonna be met with pretty much a second harvester only. So that's good signs for Smitty, because his eco is now healthier. And I mean, he can't really... The Ranger doesn't possess any threat. It's a 0 threat level without an engineer or anything inside. It's gotten a rifleman, but yeah, you know. So econ a bit in the favor of Smitty, and is super passive early game for the time being. No crazy rushes or anything. Just good old macroing up. I guess both of those guys just like their macro. Alrighty. That's just Blackened scouting that there is literally nothing to scout here. So might as well turn around. Yeah, second racks. He sees that the infantry spam is going to come online very momentarily. Can't stay to trade with the Ranger because he's well within base striking range, and if a pillbox were to deploy, say, then the Ranger would be toast. And losing your scout vehicle in the early game is actually quite nasty. So here we see a divergence of builds. Blackened is going for the 3rd refinery, and Smitty's actually going for a more expansion-heavy style, where he's going for the service depot. But as most of you are aware, I like my games nice and action-packed, and this is so far not one of them. I mean, this is a series, this is a best of 5, so who knows what can happen. Crazy things past the early game. Yeah, patch up those 5 points of damage. I mean, it's basically free, why not? You get that 5 damage back anyway from running into a telephone pole there. Utility pole, crash, bang. And that's your 5 damage. Double racks out for Blackened as well. Super standard, super safe. The only non-standard thing I'm seeing in here in the composition is a medic for Smitty. Actually 2 medics. Guy looked like he had a Zuka, but it's just a med kit. A common mistake. It's a mistake we all make from time to time. Just like in real life. Hey, good tanking with the Ranger from Smitty. And for God knows what reason, Blackened's Ranger went back in. Maybe just a pathing error. Maybe it was accidentally attack moving instead of moving back. Tends to happen. I also hate the bug when you try to patch up your vehicle at a service depot and it takes the shittiest path through enemy lines and just gets killed regardless. So this is going to be the 3rd ref deployed for Smitty, and he's taking a more aggressive approach here. His stance is going to signal that he wants to take the double expansion down bottom side, I guess. Or maybe just lock down the middle. He's going to forfeit control of the left-hand side, but in the same vein, what does Blackened really have? He's just now moving out with an actual expansion MCV. He doesn't have the refinery yet. Wow! Okay, that's a super early 5th refinery for Smitty. And Blackened, his eco has been a bit behind. I'm starting to worry here. He could fall prey to a timing push. This is 6 harvesters, and there's the 7th deployed for Smitty. So he's gonna have that nice little income spike. And Blackened is gonna take a while until his 7th comes online. So yeah. But this game is still completely open. Not a single shot has been fired, basically, except the Ranger trade. Oh, Radar Dome for Smitty. So he needs to make a miracle work here. Needs to get some good arty shots in. And both are splitting up their forces. Blackened basically just rally pointing in his main base, while he's simultaneously, having a little dispatch here. And transferring his harvesters a bit earlier than Smitty is. Because Smitty's not mined out, he's in 5 harvesters here. So fair enough. All's fair in love and war. Oh, this is gonna signal that Blackened wants to move out, and he's trying to, or is eager, of getting his hands on the double expo up top side as well. Interesting build, but so far completely dead even, and no major events. This is all brewing, you know, that the storm is coming, winter is coming, and eventually there's gonna be a big clash of armies. Just not now. Alright, Smitty's moving topside. I think he might have gotten a whiff of this with the Ranger. And a lonesome random rifle infantry giving away the army for Smitty as well. That was a good scout. He saw the deployment location of both the refinery and the construction yard. And this is super smart from Smitty. He's sending in 2 tanks. They should actually go ahead and deal with the harvesters here. He's got the 2-prong. This is fantastic for him. Losing the Ranger though. Yeah, okay. Those 2 tanks need to actually go to town on the harvesters now. Maybe even block the refinery. This is a pivotal moment in this game. And I don't know why Smitty's pulling his tanks up topside. This is not something he should do. He's trying to trade it out here. But he should just go and snipe the econ. It was a completely free snipe. 3 harvesters were ripe for the picking. And I think that might be a mistake that might come to bite him in the arse. But we'll see. On the other side, jeez Louise. That's just macro gaming incorporated. It's taken a book out of a page out of the book of Lorry Driver. And just produced like 10 mediums. Oh, that's a bit too deep for Smitty, who doesn't have base support here. So he's gonna get shooed away by a pillbox momentarily. Right. So where does this leave us? With a big push on the main base. Knock, knock, motherfucker. Right, this is actually Blackened knocking on the front door of Smitty. He's gonna try for the all-in move after having won the engagement handily there. Yeah, I feel like that was a big mistake. Those 2 mediums could have stayed in the eco lines and traded so much. They could have killed basically all the income here. And he would have been in a much better position than he is right now, because there is going to be the main army onto the front door. And Smitty has basically nothing to follow this up with. He's just now sending back all his boys. But this is such a dense and compact cluster of units that engaging into this is always going to end up with a net loss. So yeah, look at this. And Blackened is playing it smart here. He's trying not to go for snipes. He's just trying to trade off with the army, because he knows he has critical mass here and can just burn so many of Smitty's assets. Smitty has redeployed the Conyard down southern side. Oh wow, the Conyard has been shooed away on a sliver of health. This was almost dead. Conyard almost dead to rights, but that's a move command. I think that might be move command. And in the main base there is still troubles brewing for Smitty. Blackened is still there with an army, 3 tanks remaining. Lots of infantry, and lots of those are actually the vulnerable and coveted rocket soldiers. Yeah, Radar Dome goes down without a single radar unit actually seeing the battlefield in this engagement. Not a single Hind being built by Smitty as well. What's the eco looking like? He's floating line K! How do you even do this? He's got a helipad. My goodness, that's just a misplay, straight up. He should have gotten his helis out way ahead of time here. But production queues are idle. Smitty is... what is he producing? Not much, really. Nothing from the war factory. Oh, finally. He's deployed another service depot, but he's lost his expansion there. So I think Smitty has actually lost his timing window. Pulling back his Conyard was probably the safer bet, because he needed to base defenses to stem the tide in the main base. But in the same way, simultaneously, he just lost his expansion because he couldn't pop any more base defenses. Which was good game sense by Blackened. And as predicted, well, okay, no. Color me converted, because we're actually seeing a Radar Dome, and there are the units out. 2 artilleries for Blackened, 3rd artillery online. And I think he just wants to wait for the Hind. Doesn't even have helipad yet. Smitty finally just now firing up just his hind production. That was super late. I think he could have done that 5 minutes ago. Okay, so this hind needs to be stellar. And so far it is not. It's just wasting all its shots on the medium tank. Yikes, another push on the main base. This time reinforced by 2 artilleries. I doubt Smitty's got enough to hold this. He doesn't have enough juice left in the tank. Can't even afford to build a refinery here because he's being camped. Oh god, he's going for a radar dome. Ugh, I don't like it. No! Wasting all his hind shots on the tanks here. Trying his best, struggling and scrimping to stay alive, but that's the GG. Yeah. A couple easily avoidable mistakes by Smitty here. First off, just sniping the eco lines would have been so much more beneficial than pulling his tanks into the meat grinder up top. He could have had this game. Also, floating 9k, never good game practice, never do that. Smitty, fire up your production queues, the forges were idle. Right, that's it for game 1, but we'll be back with round 2. See you in a second.
Battle control, terminate. Battle control, initialize.
Here we go, round 2. Who let the dogs out? No one, because it's an allied mirror. God damn it. No, it isn't. Smitty's actually Russian. There we go. Beautiful. Ah, I didn't see the kill though. No one let the dogs out at all. Dogs are staying home, good boys. Yeah, you don't want no place in this war. The war zone, speaking of which, is Badger Hills. One of those maps where I can never tell whether I'm ahead or behind. It's really hard to assess with all those expansions going on. You've got like 4... No, we've got 5, 6 asymmetric expansions there. Or, well, 6 expansions where it's really hard to gauge how many you can safely take. And usually one of the opponents is just going to park his MCV here. Whoever wins the race to the middle gets the liberty of having less flanks to defend, because he needs to then only defend here and there. And the other player is going to have to play a much more open and defensive game, because, yeah, your opponent can come in from this side. You basically have to defend 4 or even 5 flanks, depending on whether you have to count this. 4 or 5 flanks at once, and that's really difficult to gauge. Whereas, if you have control of the middle, yeah, it's just more pressure on your opponent. Smitty again with the early flame tower. He's maybe scared of like what Lorry Driver did back in Season 4, where he just went for the 20 rifle opener on double ref and tried killing power plants, successfully so, I might add. Yeah. Other than that, super standard macro opener again, we're seeing 2 War Factory openers, and they're just not even a second apart. This is just 2 players knowing what they're doing. And what's the deploy command like? Blackened slightly ahead, probably using hotkeys a bit more. But nothing to scoff, nothing out of the ordinary here. Light tank being rushed out by Blackened. This time his scout vehicle of choice is a bit more heavily armored, because the Ranger in game 1 didn't yield any real success. I mean, it wasn't horrible either, but it died past the like 3-minute mark. To a micro mistake as well. And yeah, Smitty again just going for his second harvester, and mobile flag is coming out now. So again, he's going for something that's a bit more punchy in the eco department. But at the same time, he's gonna have to run away from the light tank as soon as it spawns, as soon as it marches into his base. Right, flag track is out here. Gonna probably scout the turret of a light tank before it meets its inevitable demise. There we go. Oh, light tank is going on a chase. Last shot. Ooh, that was the wrong direction. Oh my god. Lucky. Oh, Blackened being lucky here. That was a lucky crush. Also, he's got the turret primed. That's so nasty. That's such a nasty bug here. Because wherever the flag track goes, he's got it in his sights. I can smell their fear. Light tank just going on a relentless chase. Yep, this flag track is toast. If Blackened knows what he's doing, he can actually see where Smitty is moving. Yep, and is cutting him off. Smitty has no way of checking because his turret didn't track and didn't prime. So, intercept. Very easy interception here. And I want to see the pew. I want to hear the pew pew of the light. There we go. Nice easy 600. And super eco greedy early game again. 6 harvesters for Blackened. How many is Smitty on? Only 5 right now. So he's behind despite having rushed out an earlier harvester. He's also going for a Rax a bit early this time around, second Rax on. And the service depot is on for Blackened as well. So MCV timings are like 10 seconds apart. Blackened 10 seconds behind. Again, this is a super passive early game despite the flag track snipe. And yeah, just macro gaming, honestly. The other series, Orb versus Barf, just check that one out. It was the previous Shoutcast that I did, or the previous 2 Shoutcasts actually. Those were really action-packed. Really crazy, even in the early game. What with Barf trying a base push on River of Piss. It was pretty insane. One of the most intense games. And one of the closest back and forth games in a while. So we're seeing double light tank before the MCV actually has spawned. So a bit more of an investment into early vehicles from Blackened. Let's see if it pays off. As I'm hearing some warnings going off in the background, but hey, I've never been one to listen to those warnings. Screw those. Alrighty. Let's see. Maybe the MCV is gonna get pincered, but I doubt it now. He's just gonna deploy safely. He doesn't take the middle here, which is something Smitty usually did against me, but this time around he's playing a bit more passive because he knows that there's a light tank on the field that he hasn't accounted for yet. In comes a heavy tank, maybe enough with the infantry density to scare away the army. First medium is gonna hit the field as well. Alright, this ore truck is here for the tanking. It's a bad pathing. Really bad pathing. Oh, and the heavy tank can't get in to crush. So, still though, this should be enough, yeah. More than enough for Smitty to hold this. He might pull back his tank here. No, he's going deep. Okay, another medium tank, and this time around, there is no base defenses. I think that's a mistake by Smitty. Really, he should have just pulled back his army. Would have been in a good spot, but decided to trade away his heavy tank here. Probably not worth it, because heavy tanks build slower than mediums, and also this one rifleman needs to be executed on the spot. Statutory execution, because it's blocking the entire eco lines. Yeah, there we go. He finally realized it. Okay, so a rack cell and a move out onto the greener pastures. Yeah, there's a scout for Blackened though, so this might actually be cluing him in. And Blackened again, just nothing fancy, nothing out of the ordinary. Just going for mass mediums. Gonna take his side of the ditch here and fortify with lots of pillboxes. Has he scout? Yes, he scouted the Conyard. That's pretty good for him because he knows the position, and he also knows as soon as a refinery comes online, he's gonna be aware. Yeah, that's pretty good. And where... Oh, Blackened is on a second war factory already, so 25% production speed boost. Oh, that's something, you know, that's where player opinions diverge, and I would much rather have this invested in a radar dome. But Blackened is someone who loves his early double war factory from time to time. Just a matter of taste. And a matter of crushing infantry beneath your treads. This rifle giving away the double deployed war trucks here. I think Smitty should actually move out to his Conyard and fortify on this position. Right, this is going to be a big engagement, and spearheaded by 3 heavies. There are more mediums, but it doesn't really matter because there should be a base defense. Maybe Smitty has the... Oh no, he doesn't have anything. Yeah, he's going for the radar dome right now. Unlucky timing. Had he had another barracks, he could have actually popped the flame tower to assist him in this engagement. As it stands, so far pretty good for Blackened. Yeah. He's now trying to go deeper. It's not gonna happen. Ooh, this heavy tank, just a bit of a giveaway. Oh, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. This heavy tank was just a waste. Alright, really forward radar dome from Smitty. Has to make sure that he can defend this. Actually needs adequate forces. And Blackened has now taken this expansion. This means Smitty should have moved there earlier. After having deployed his refineries, he should have moved. Oh, yikes. The turret as well. This is going to be the Maginot line. Maginot 2.0. It's going to poke away at anything that comes too close. The static D out of the allies is still so potent, and the only way to counter it as Soviets at tier 1.5 is with Tesla coils on the right spot. Oh god, there's another medium tank. That's smart actually. The rotation, he switched up his rally points and sent one of his medium tanks up north. This is gonna force Smitty to defend on 2 fronts. And it's gonna get nasty for him real quick here. He's gotten a V2 launcher, but it needs to be a miracle shot if he wants to defend all of this. Oh no! He's not pulling back in time. No miracle shot being hit. And a second V2. No, he's going for flak trucks. Very poor choice, if I say so myself right now, because all the Blackened has really is tier 1.5. No signs of a radar dome just yet. Yeah, and in comes a secondary flank army. I mean, it's just so small. It's basically 1 tank and 2 rifles. But it can still inflict some damage. Don't underestimate. Never underestimate the power of large groups of people with machine guns. Is how the saying goes, I believe. Oh god, so many rockets being thrown away for nothing as well. Oh, this is painful. Not like this, Smitty. Not like this. He's in for another push here. Blackened, I think, has smelled the radar dome. Yeah, he's seen it already. So most of his front line is falling, but there is mostly rocket infantry here. And not many flame towers, not much in the way of static D right now. So finally, the cleanup is going to be achieved. Just in the nick of time, just before the radar dome goes down. But another dispatch, 2 more mediums, lots more rocket soldiers. Oh, the force fire needs to be so good from Smitty if he wants to hold this. So far it is. That was a really good couple of flamer shots. Fireballs. Yeah! Blackened is throwing away a lot of assets here. I don't know, this is such a back and forth, just relentless aggression. Oh my lord. The Maginot line still unbroken. And as of yet, Smitty still is in the possession of a functional radar dome. Which means he could go for some V2s and maybe... I would love a single yak. But also he needs to make sure he's gotten his expansion secured. So really, he just needs to move down a couple inches with his Conyard and fortify here. Whoa-oh. Another tank being thrown away. This is a Tesla coil being deployed, but lots of infantry. And I think this Tesla coil is not gonna live long enough to be worthwhile. It could have chipped away at the Maginot line, but falls even with the wall deployed. Just not in time, and this is a meat grinder. No, you don't want to engage into this. Buddy, send your ore trucks elsewhere, even if it's long distance mining. Long distance mining is bad, but it's better than losing your ore trucks for nothing. PSA. So 2 mediums still alive here. Oh, Smitty is being pulled apart by the strings. He doesn't have any recourse to this right now. Blackened has taken another expansion super safely. Oh, first harvester going down, second harvester shortly to follow. And 1-2 punch. There she goes. Third harvester might actually fall as well. Yeah, third harvester dead to rights. That's super worthwhile for Blackened. Can he get number 4? Okay, this Tesla coil is better. But the artilleries are starting to appear. And there is not a single yak to counteract this. Also the flak trucks have been given away. Again, the eco lines are stalling. Oh my goodness, I hate when this happens. It's not Smitty's fault, it's sort of a bug when both the harvesters are trying to go for the same cell. Now this Tesla coil is fantastic, but it's been scouted by a forward heli. No, it hasn't yet. Oh, nice. I think Smitty might be, Blackened might be force firing. Yeah, he's force firing. That's still a really great Tesla coil. And good game sense by Blackened here. First V2 back online, and out comes an airfield. How much is Smitty floating this time around? Nothing, he's broke. Alright, that's a good flank truck. How many can he get? I think he can get away with a second, sniping a second artillery here. Sure, he's gonna snipe the artillery. Right. Oh, a Hind, though, has disposed of the V2. And Smitty pretty much has to go for an all-in here. Oh, he doesn't have a vector anymore. And the front end is being pushed in by 6 artilleries. And the southern side is being driven away by artillery, by rocket soldiers. Or just by a couple of infantry in general. And on the top flank, there's just nothing. Oh, wow! Also a huge army. Onto the war factory. I've completely missed this army. Must have gone the long con. This must have actually flanked the entire way here. Wow. So Smitty throwing away all his armies. Surely this is GG. Okay, I want to see the incomes graph. This is somewhat... Oh, right, you can't check the incomes graph anymore. This is somehow odd because Blackened... Okay, I think it was sort of ahead in assets, but how did this extra army... Where did he get this from? Maybe he just harvested out earlier. I mean, this was mainly harvested out. Huh. Maybe this ore mine was the difference. Yeah, maybe that's just the value of an entire army. Interesting. So a 2-0 up for Blackened here. And Smitty needs to kick it into second gear if he wants to stay competitive with Blackened here. Alrighty, that's it for game 2. And that's it for this week. For me, it's going to be the same casting session, but for you guys, it's going to be a week later. So I'm still going to be sitting in the Trans-Siberian and slurping my kvass. Until then, do svidaniya, comrades, and see you next week. 5 aces, out.
Battle control terminated.